I talk about this quite a bit, but I think it's worth circling back to periodically and talk about sex, because absolutely true that we can have the best sex of our lives as we age. And I want to remind you about just quickly why that is. And if that doesn't feel real for you right now and you're saying, this is not the best sex of my life, let's talk about what we can do to make that better if you want to. I found a group of women in my own practice who had a totally different experience. They loved sex. They had fantastic stories. And then I got them together and interviewed them. And I found out what they shared so that I could learn it myself and then I could teach it to other people. So just as a review, you may have heard this before, but the 3 things that they shared in broad context were actual mental functions. Number 1, they all had this attitude of curiosity or openness to possibility. Each of them had words they would use, like coming out of their shell or being let out of a box or walking into an open field, or all these ways of feeling like things were getting better. So an attitude of optimism that life can be better. So if we don't believe it's possible, it's not going to be possible, right? So it has to start from a mind state of believing it's possible. So this just general sense of being curious, like, yes, I want to know. Let me find out about that. So they all had that. That was number 1. Number 2 is they all had this quite high degree of self-awareness, and I might describe that as knowing how I tick. Maybe they've done some work with a psychologist or reading books or podcasts or coaching or personality tests or journaling or just introspection, whatever way. They kind of understood themselves. What triggers me? What do I love? What makes me get upset? What makes me laugh? And then how do I communicate that? So it's one thing knowing that about ourselves, and another skill is how to communicate that. So they had very good skills with conscious communication, finding the right time to have these conversations that, especially around sex, can be very sensitive, very easy to trigger someone and make them think they're not good enough or something's wrong. So we have to be very careful when we use language around sex. And the third one was having intention, and by intention I mean deciding that you want this to be part of what you do long term. Like, I intend to focus on improving intimacy throughout the rest of this relationship, something like that. And then attention, that's a little bit different. That's where I choose to put my mind out of all the millions of things going on in the world, Instagram, TV, this and that, kids, dogs. I'm going to pay attention to you, even if it's for a few minutes, with something like a conscious hello and goodbye, like, oh, hey, honey, it's great to see you, I love you, or bye, have a great day, I can't wait to see you tonight. Little things that say, I see you, I hear you, I got you, right? So those things. So they are curiosity, self-awareness, including we want to know what pleasures us so that we can communicate that, right? We've got to be self-aware about our body as well as our mind, and then attention and intention, both together. So that mindset was prevalent. In fact, it was necessary in order to have a great sex life.